talk about genuine equipment, we still use spanners like this, all hand forged in the fire, and we still have to use them. They're not lightweights neither nowadays, these. But that's the kind of equipment that we've got. Even the radio, 45-year-old. The telephone, 1906, that still works. Actually, I rewired this through to the boiler house so that I can ring the boiler man, you see. You would find most mill engines had ropes around the flywheels driving onto secondary shafts up through the mill, usually because they were 3 or 4 story mills. This one, it's always been a single story in the weaving part, so that is why the engine's built up level with the roof of the weaving shed, and it's a direct drive off the back of the flywheel.
Would you say that was unusual, or is it because it's single shed?
Actually, it's the only one I've ever seen that's a direct drive.
Yeah.
You did get, sometimes you would have the shaft going to the back of the flywheel and then geared onto the flywheel.
Yeah.
Or like we've said, you had ropes driving off the flywheel, but this is the only one I've ever seen that is a direct drive onto the flywheel. Well, a cleaner was cleaning and he got his rag fast under the ropes. This is the story I've got. The ropes came off, so I went to look for the engineer. Well, with the ropes off, your governor stops going round, and when your governor stops, your engine speeds up. So before the engineer could get back, it was going that fast that it blew up, demolished the building. The flywheel went straight through the wall into the mill and took a weaver's head off. And then it demolished all the looms in the mill as well. Like, so. And that was with just a bit of rag under the ropes. Bottom piston ring in the high pressure cylinder.
Was it?
Now in those days you weren't allowed to stop the engine during working hours, or there were 300 people out of work.
Yeah.
So I ran it for 3 days with a broken ring, and the whole building was shaking. It still kept going like. In the meantime, got an old gear wheel, had that machined up. In fact, I have it on the bench there now. You can see the broken pieces. Somebody pinched a piece for a souvenir, actually.
Yeah.
But that was the broken ring, and this was the one that I put in. You see where the spokes were? Teeth all round. It was machined up, put in, and it ran with that in for 3 months. So they run under all sorts of conditions, you know.
Smart thinking, Mum.
So what we've done with this mill, actually, we've split it into 3 parts. So you've got 1/3 as a visitor area, cafe, shop, a few artefacts laid out, and basically that's where the visitors should come in. But obviously we haven't been open for over 12 months. Behind this wall, which didn't exist originally, you've got the 2/3 of the mill. That is purely for weaving. We still have 300 looms left in there. And then further along we have another wall that's been built, and behind that there's 1/3 for industrial units. So what you're looking at really, you get a false impression on the size of the place because you're only looking at it 1/3 at a time, really. But this basically is a donkey engine, and the idea of this was, if I stopped the big engine for lunch, there was a process called tape sizing behind this wall which had to continue running through lunch. So you'd start this small engine just to run that one machine. And what it is, you're putting hot size onto the cotton threads to stiffen them for weaving. So you've got hot size in the vats above. I'll show you the machine in a moment. And it's a process that when you start, you keep it going, you see. So when I stopped the big engine for lunch, they'd carry on with this small engine. The machine I was talking about, your size is in the vats up above. And it's fed down onto the cotton threads that are running through this machine. And like I said, it's to stiffen the threads before they go onto the loom for weaving. Otherwise, cotton in its raw state is too soft. and it soon breaks, it won't weave, you see. So what you've got is, you've got what we call a cheese with a cotton thread on. You've got the ferns. You wind the thread onto the ferns to make a cop. That's your cop. The cop goes into the shuttle. Your shuttle's going across the loom, so that's your weft. And to load that, you just put the cop onto the spike, close it down, take the end of the thread and feed it through that slot, so it's loaded. Now in the old days they didn't have that slot in. The weaver used to have to suck the thread through that hole, suck it through, and that's what they called a kissing shuttle. And they made those illegal because everybody was getting consumption, so they made them illegal, you see. All they had to do was put the slot in. So that, in your shuttle, going across the loom is the weft. That, coming off the tape sizing plant, is your warp. So semi-automatic, and they are modern to us. I mean, put in about 1950, but that's modern to us. All our stuff dates back to 18.